it's Friday and it's our last day of portrait week. And it's time to get funky on Friday. We have a new element of art we're going to add to our list, and that's texture. Texture is how something feels. It can be described as bumpy, smooth, soft. It can be something slimy or squishy. Sometimes we don't like to actually touch the textures. We like to look at them. An artist can visually create a texture with their skills. And we call that implied texture, when we don't actually touch it, but we can see it with our eyes. An artist can also create an artwork that is an obscure texture, something you wouldn't originally think. This one by Oppenheimer that created this bowl and spoon out of fur. So today we are going to use texture in our portrait, and we are also going to be inspired by this Joseph Ducrot funky artist who was unique for his time. He's born in France, and he was known for being chosen to create a portrait of Marie Antoinette, who was the Queen of France at the time. But in his own time, he liked to make many self-portraits that were very silly. Many people during this time would create very serious portraits, but here he's creating himself yawning. And he's become so funny to look at. He's now a meme on the internet. But we're going to be inspired by him and create a funky self-portrait, very silly, very expressive, with salt dough. I'm going to show you how to do that in the kitchen, and you can create your own. So the salt dough is created with half a cup of flour. You can use a gluten-free alternative or any kind of baking flour that you have. If you do use almond flour or coconut flour, it might be a little bit more crumbly, so maybe add a little bit extra water. But after you add your half cup of flour, you are going to add 1/4 cup of salt and 1/4 cup of water. Then you're going to mix it up all together. It's going to start out really sticky, and then as the water spreads out, it will become more squishy and doughy. Once you have this dough, then you can form it into a shape like a ball. It's a good way to create a head for a portrait as a sphere, kind of like when we are creating with Play-Doh. So now that I have my dough, I'm going to work on a piece of cardboard, but you can work on a piece of paper, anything that you don't want it to, you don't mind it sticking to while it dries. As the air dry clay dries, it will harden like a clay, and so you're going to let it dry overnight when you're done forming it. I want it to be kind of thick like a cookie so it doesn't fall apart as it dries. And for creating our textures on our salt dough, we can use things like a fork or a spoon. You can use your hands to create a texture. I like the fork to create a hair-like texture, the spoon to kind of form the eyes. For a nice line, I can use the back of the fork or spoon, or I can use a knife if you have like a butter knife. But you can get creative with your tools. You can always just use your hands if you don't have these tools available. I can also create a silly face, maybe something with my tongue out, winking, maybe I'm sneezing, maybe I'm making those fish lips, or I'm being cross-eyed. You can get creative with your funky face ideas. And when you're done, you'll just let it dry overnight. And the next day, if you want to add color, you can use paints, markers. You could even use nail polish as paint. Get creative. If you do add paint to it, it might help it last longer. I hope you have fun making your silly expression clay dough. Remember, The activities I do here are just for fun. If you don't have the supplies, you don't have to do this activity. There are other ways to meet your 10 minutes of art a day. Remember to log all 50 minutes in the form below, and I hope you guys have a safe and fun weekend. And parents, you rock stars, thank you for letting the students join me each day here. All right, bye-bye.